I'm Umek, and right now we are in Ljubljana, in my studio in Metelkova, and I'm gonna show you two of my new tracks coming out very soon. First one is gonna be my remix or a re-edit of Vivaldi's Four Seasons, which I made together with a Slovenian orchestra, television orchestra, and the other one is a track called Novi Sad, which is coming out on Great Stuff Recordings in Germany. Basically, Slovenian TV approached me a few months ago and asked me if I want to do a cover version of any classic they perform, because it's a big orchestral group and they have loads of recording material, and they gave me a few things to listen to, and I chose this Vivaldi thing, and it's quite an honor to do that, because this group is very famous. All professional artists and musicians. So basically they just gave me some recordings, and I started to slice everything, and everything is sampled. Had loads of problems to speed down the tempo, because unlike techno, tempo is changing all the time. So I had loads of problems, and I did a lot of editing of sounds. Luckily for me, Logic has a really good time stretch in the new version, in the new Logic, so I could speed down tracks which were like around 145 BPMs to 129, and this is what I was not able to do before. So now I can use sample like which are really fast or really slow, and I can put it in my tempo. I work with Logic actually. All my tracks. I have Pro Tools. I bought it just for mixing it down, but I'm not using it, so I didn't have actually enough time lately to be focused on that. And I will definitely try to mix some tunes in Pro Tools in next months. But now it's all about Logic. I got first of all I got these samples, and as Four Seasons are actually four different ideas inside, I had to go through everything. I was actually really careful choosing the samples which I'm going to use, and somehow I think I used Winter, if I'm correct, because of Four Seasons, and because it sounded really cool, and the actual riff everybody knows. It's the most popular of all the Four Seasons melodies. And I took that sample, I sliced it up, put it in the tempo, and this was the beginning. I usually, when I start to make track, I always start with a bass drum, with a bass line, and then the rhythm section goes. But this was actually the opposite. First the melody, because I had to take an idea, and I build it up from there. The intro?
Yeah.
This is the intro, but the funny story is, if you listen closely to these small edits on a violins, actually this is to cover the mistakes of Logic, because basically, even though it has a really cool pitch shifter and everything, there are still small mistakes that appear when you audio edit it, you know. And I want to use this thing, and I did some edits, you know, some crazy things, and you can cover these small, I don't know how to say, glitches, you know. And yeah, this is a cover-up actually. It's there on purpose to cover mistakes.
Show us how you made that cool effect though, because even though it's a cover-up, it's quite.
Actually, I made it with it's Effectrix. It's a plugin that I really love, and it's amazing, and you can hear it like this. For example, on this channel, I used channel EQ, Effectrix, Tremolo, and Space Designer. And you can hear, let's hear the mistakes. Actually, not a lot of people would hear that, but I do, and it annoys me a lot, you know, because it's not perfectly correct. Then we can listen it. Bassline. For my rhythm section, I use, basically for the bass lines, I use mostly, it's not a proper bass line. I actually use drums, bassy drums, and I compress them a lot. I use sidechain as everyone else, and these are actually the secret of my bass lines. It's why drums? Because they have like really cool attack. And it's a kind of modern sound these days if you use it instead of the proper bass line. I use a lot. I used to use a lot of microtonic. It's a rhythm machine, amazing rhythm machine with oscillator. You can mix it up with noise or a normal sound. It has really crazy features, and I used to use this a lot. Not anymore because I kind of got sick of it, but in this track it sounded perfectly, you know. And yeah, these are the small things that I use for my rhythm section. Otherwise, lately I use a lot of samples. With me, I have this era or parts in my career where I use only synthesizers and only sounds that I made. Never use a sampler. And this is always a period of a year or two. And then I have a period of where I just sample everything, you know, from beginning to the start. And actually now in the part of my career where I sample again. And basically I get sick of like using only synthesizers because they are on the end they're all the same. No matter even though if I have like 40 of them inside or almost everything what's good on there, I get sick of it, and then I just need to go to use samples because those sounds are pre-prepared, and it will definitely automatically sound differently. No matter what you do, no matter if you use the same compressors, reverbs and stuff, it's going to be a little bit different. Especially if you use like loops from one guy, I don't know, drum sounds from the other guy, bass line from somewhere else. You get your own sound, but then again, it sounds different. So here's the bass drum.
This is a sample.
This is a sample. Yeah, the bass drum, everybody has problem with the bass drum. There's actually not a formula how to get a proper bass drum. It's just, do you hear it or you don't? And basically this bass drum, it's actually from Boombox, from Pro Tools. It's their own machine, it's in the program, and it's really good. It has an amazing bottom, and you can compress it a lot, and you will not lose the punch on a bass, because a lot of producers have a problem using the bass drum, and they compress it too much, and they lose the bottom end, you know. What I do, I mean, there are a few tricks. In the old days, I used to put a bass drum and a bass line in the same bass group, and then I put a compressor. Right now I'm using it separately. Then again, there's no rule, you know. It's if it sounds good, then it is good. It doesn't have to be a rocket scientist, you know. But what I do in my mixes, all my mixes I put on purpose a little bit more of bass drum. Like for example, now in these days, tech house is all about put the bass drum really low, so everything else is gonna go up, you know. With me, so they're directly opposite. My sound, no matter if I do more houseier stuff or if I do more techno-oriented stuff, it will always have a proper bass drum, a strong bass drum. This is how I feel about dance music. This is how I want my music wanted to sound in the clubs. and this is the only rule. Like, you can try it. Maybe you can, when you do a final mix, put 1 or 2 decibels up a bass drum, you know, just for fun.
It must be difficult with this track though, because the bass line is also a kick drum. You said a drum sound. Does that make it easier or harder getting them to fit together?
Actually, the using toms or like a rhythm sounds for bass line is much easier, because they are short sounded, they are consistent. And a lot of synthesizers, when you use bass lines, they have this small oscillation on a bass, and when you put it together with kick, then you have a feeling that kick is changing all the time, and actually it does. So basically, when you use like drum sounds, they are like really short, and they are exactly as they hear, you know, as you can hear them, and it's much easier to actually mix it up precisely as a proper long bass line. At least I think so.